Hi, everyone. I'm Charlene Shirk, and welcome to Digital Champions, where we speak to some of the most innovative thinkers in the digital space. And joining us today from Phoenix, Arizona is Dan Shinder with Advanced Social Marketing. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today on Digital Champions.
Thank you very much for having me, Charlene. Appreciate it.
All right. So what's so advanced about the social marketing you're doing over there at Advanced Social Marketing?
You know, that's such a great question. The most advanced thing is that we are not doing what a lot of other people are doing. When I say people, I mean businesses. A lot of businesses are following everyone else over the cliff doing what's wrong. There's a lot of herd mentality, and a lot of people are copying what everyone else is doing because that's what everyone else is doing, rather than using some uncommon sense and critical thinking. And I think one of the biggest issues out there, Charlene, is that a lot of people confuse marketing with advertising. And in order for advertising to work, the marketing has to work. And marketing is what gets people to respond to the advertising, which means we've got to build communities around our own brands and the brands we serve. And that means that a very small percentage of the content should be advertising, as opposed to things that people really can latch onto, that will resonate with them, educate them, edify them, entertain them, and keep them following that brand. So when they do drop an advertisement in front of them, they already love them, they like them, they trust them, and they want to be part of it.
And so how are you breaking that up? Are you saying that the marketing is the organic and the advertising is the paid?
You know, actually, the way we've done it, we've never paid for advertising either on our own platforms. And what I mean by that is we've never paid for ads on the social platforms. It's all been organic. We've never boosted posts. It's all organic because we put in all the work to build and we do this for our clients too, is build the community around the community building content, the part that they have fun with, the part that really educates them. And if you create that level of engagement where you're reaching, and you don't have to reach like we do millions of people a month, but if you reach tens of thousands of people a month and you grow your following of an engaged following that really cares about what you're posting, then your advertising is going to matter because of all the other content that's organic. Does that make sense?
Yes, and you said uncommon thinking. So can you give me an example of uncommon thinking in a post that has helped build that community around a particular brand?
Absolutely. And it's really uncommon sense. I think the thing about common sense is that people have a misconception of what that is. Like I said, everyone's following each other over the cliff. So what we do is we look at the brand. Let's take a car dealership. We've done a lot of work with car dealerships. If you take a car dealership, they want to get people to fall in love with them who don't necessarily need a car this week, Charlene, but will need a car in 2 years when their 14-year-old starts driving or their 18-year-old graduates college or whatever it is. So they're going to have to post content other than advertising, which will cause people to stop paying attention to them. They need to post things that are nostalgia, do-it-yourself tips, maintenance tips, history, racing, custom paint, custom add-ons. There are all these things to keep people interested so that when it's time to shop for a car, who are they going to think of first? They're going to think of that brand whose channel they've been following, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. That's the first brand/company they're going to think of. And that's the uncommon sense I'm referring to, because not a lot of people are doing that. Most brands, most companies, most entrepreneurs utilize their social channels to just advertise, advertise, advertise. And if that's all we do, it's like turning on the radio and hearing one song and then hearing 25 minutes of commercials, then hearing another song, and then 20. Who would listen to a station like that? So why do we run our social channels that way? We have to provide value, and it's got to be for our target market.
So you're talking like edutainment. So you're entertaining people,
Yeah.
You're educating them. You know, it's funny that you mentioned that. I went to a conference once and the folks who ran the TSA's social media was there. So TSA doesn't have to sell you anything, But they had one of the most popular sites of anybody in that conference because it was like, look at the weird stuff we find through here. And oh, hey, remember, you're not supposed to bring this. So it was a little bit of a looky-loo and at the same time, some education. And here you had, million-dollar brands in this conference, and that the TSA's page was the one everybody was talking
That's
about
the best.
at the end of the
That's
conference.
great.
You got to follow it if you're not, and their Twitter feed is hilarious. And that's the thing, you're engaging people, in a way that entertains them and educates them. But I got to ask you, Dan, so many people believe in the theory now that you're not going to move the needle unless you combine organic social with paid social. What I'm hearing from you is saying that is just not true.
It's not true. It's a matter of understanding everything we just talked about, as well as understanding the reach thwarting algorithms and how they work. Every year, twice a year, there's some professor out there saying the sky is falling, you're never going to reach the same amount of people, you're never going to drive traffic, you're never going to. And I'm not smarter than anybody else, but I've always been able to use uncommon sense and some critical thinking to think my way around those algorithms. And the biggest X factor is what we talked about, the community building content, and one other thing, and that's being inclusive. If I may use the car dealership again, post questions that ask people to share their experiences because people want to be part of it. Get people to fall in love with what you do and want to be part of it. So if I was a car dealership, I would ask, what was your most recent road trip? What was your favorite road trip? What was the longest road trip? What would be your dream car to take a road trip in? There's 20 questions you could pose in posts, separate posts, just around the road trip itself. What was your first car? What's your dream car? What's the most you spent on a car? What's the least you spent on a car? What's your biggest pain point with insurance? I mean, it goes on and on with any subject. It could be travel, shoes, fashion, it could be food, it could be entrepreneurship, management, C-suites, accounting, anything. We need to include our target market to be part of it rather than just yelling at them with a megaphone. I happen to have one actually right up there.
I love
that's
it.
how I used to get the kids to clean their room. But
well, Dan, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time today. We're over time just because I loved every word you said. And my producer's like, let's go. So Dan, thank you so much for sharing your insight and taking the time to join us today on Digital Champions.
Thank you, Charlene. I'll share this around. Thanks.
All right. Well, if you'd like to see more about what they're doing over their advanced social marketing and all their creative ideas, we want you to start, though, by going to dailyadbrief.com first. And thanks again so much for joining us today. I'm Charlene Shirk, and we look forward to learning something new with you next time on Digital Champions.